statistics, and it shows you how privileged and entitled an entire demographic of people, regardless of race, mostly based on age at this point. Read these comments, you guys. There are even black people in there saying, well, what? What do you mean? That's the victim mentality. Stop playing. Do you not understand? Let me explain how it works again, okay? When you take a look at all of the statistics from the years of slavery and coming out, people had no money, specifically those who were being held as slaves. It takes forever and a day for them to catch up financially. When you don't have money, you have to steal, you have to commit other crimes to wipe your butt, wear clothes, wear shoes, and then you go to prison for those crimes. Now, there were some white slaves, but the huge majority of slaves were black people. Does anyone want to argue about that? Anyone? Now, when you talk about recovering from that, from being held as a slave, earning your own income, learning your own skill sets, we talk about oppression in the form of black people didn't even know how to read because they were enslaved. And there are a million different books that talk about how people wanted to teach black people to read when they owned them as slaves. And they got met with such adversity because they were literally told, when you teach a black slave how to read, you're teaching them how to free themselves. When you teach them anything, you're teaching them how to free themselves. And so when you deal with years and years of oppression in that capacity, they're at a disadvantage financially when you cannot afford to live. And so that's why we say knowledge is power, right? Because no matter what you're learning, that skill set can free you. If you learn how to be an iron worker and you used to be a slave, now you know how to work with iron and you can earn a living wage. So when we're talking about the black father being removed from the home, and all these comments are like little white girls like, what did we do to remove the black father? That wasn't us. Well, it was white people who were slave owners back in the day, and then government, whether they were black, white, orange, red, or green, refusing to acknowledge that when you live with no money, you have two choices: die or commit crime to live. I want Turning Point USA to acknowledge this. I want them to acknowledge this because I love Turning Point USA and I agree with them. Turning Point USA, I have so much respect and love for you guys other than when it comes to this issue. You never acknowledge this issue. You argue with college kids and say there is no such thing as white privilege. White privilege is not even knowing these things. That is white privilege. And it's not just white. It's anyone who doesn't know. You could be whatever color. It's privilege, period. You could be black and not know these things. It's the truth. It needs to be understood. The reason why there are a lot of fathers, black fathers, who are not in the home is because, as I said yesterday, if it's going to be the wife or the father who's going to run into the store to steal toilet paper, it's going to be the father. And so if someone's going to get caught, it's also going to be the father. And that is why. Because when you live in poverty, you have two choices: commit crimes to survive